It was a bright and sunny afternoon, and the local community pool was filled with laughter, splashing, and the smell of sunscreen. Families had come to enjoy the warm weather, and children ran around with excitement, eager to jump into the cool water. Among the crowd, a young girl sat at the edge of the pool, her legs dangling just above the water. She was shy and careful, watching the other kids play and waiting for the right moment to step in. Her small hands clutched a brightly colored pool float, and her eyes followed every splash, every jump, as if she was learning from them before taking her own leap. She had always been a little cautious around water, especially in public places. The idea of jumping into a crowded pool was intimidating, and the laughter and noise around her made her nervous. Still, there was a spark of excitement in her eyes. She wanted to join the fun, to be part of the laughter, but something held her back. She shifted slightly on the edge, dipping a toe in and quickly pulling it back. She looked around, hoping someone would notice her hesitation and maybe offer some encouragement. The lifeguard on duty was stationed at a high chair near the deep end. He had a sharp eye and a commanding presence, known among regular visitors as someone who kept the pool strictly in order. On this day, however, there was something different about him. Perhaps it was boredom. Perhaps it was a sense of power that made him feel in control of the whole pool. Whatever it was, he noticed the girl hesitating and decided he would help her overcome her fear. The way he looked at her made her heart race. She didn't know it yet, but she was about to experience something unexpected. Without warning, the lifeguard leaned over and gave the girl a firm push. She screamed, a sound that cut through the chatter and laughter of the pool. Her small body plunged into the deep end with a big splash, water spraying in all directions. For a moment, the world seemed to stop. Parents gasped, children froze mid-splash, and the lifeguard acted as if nothing had happened, scanning the pool as if everything was normal. The girl flailed in the water, trying to keep her head above the surface. Fear gripped her, and panic threatened to take over. She kicked her legs and reached her arms out, hoping someone would notice and help her. Nearby swimmers jumped up, some pointing and shouting, but the crowded pool made it difficult for anyone to reach her immediately. Her little heart was pounding, her breath coming in quick, panicked gasps. At that exact moment, someone new arrived at the pool. Dwayne Johnson, visiting the city for a nearby event, had decided to take a quiet break at the local pool. He had been walking past and heard the sudden scream. His eyes instantly found the girl struggling in the water. Without hesitation, he sprinted toward the pool, calling out instructions to the bystanders, urging them to clear a path. His presence was commanding yet calm, and everyone instinctively stepped back, giving him space to act. Dwayne reached the pool's edge and, with a strong and careful motion, lifted the girl out of the water. She coughed and sputtered, water dripping from her hair and clothes, but she was safe in his arms. Her eyes were wide with shock, and tears streamed down her cheeks. Dwayne held her gently, speaking in a reassuring voice that immediately calmed her. He told her she had done nothing wrong, that she was brave, and that it was okay to feel scared. His words were simple, but they carried a weight of kindness and authority that made her feel protected. Around them, the pool had quieted down. Parents and other swimmers gathered, murmuring in shock and disbelief at what had just happened. They watched as Dwayne knelt beside the girl, continuing to comfort her. The lifeguard, realizing that someone important had noticed the incident, shifted nervously, trying to act as if everything was fine. But Dwayne's gaze was firm. It was clear he had noticed exactly what had happened, and he would not let it go unnoticed. Witnesses described Dwayne's demeanor as calm but firm. He looked directly at the lifeguard, asking in a measured tone why he had pushed the girl. The lifeguard stammered, unable to give a reasonable answer. It was a moment that revealed the truth of the situation, the way power can be misused and how courage and intervention can make a difference. People around the pool watched, some nodding in approval, others shaking their heads in disbelief. The atmosphere had shifted from casual fun to tense awareness. Meanwhile, the girl's fear slowly gave way to relief. She looked up at Dwayne with a mixture of awe and gratitude. He encouraged her to take deep breaths, to calm down, and to know that she was safe now. Her small hands clutched his arm briefly, seeking reassurance, and he smiled, giving her a gentle nod. The presence of someone who cared deeply in that moment made all the difference. Other children who had witnessed the push stayed close but at a safe distance. They whispered among themselves, some asking why anyone would treat a child that way. but seeing Dwayne step in gave them hope, showing them that adults could intervene and make a situation right. It was a lesson in courage and empathy, silently teaching them that they could also stand up for what was right when they grew older. The girl's parents rushed over, wrapping her in a towel and checking that she was okay. Their faces showed a mixture of relief, anger, and gratitude. They thanked Dwayne repeatedly, and he simply nodded, assuring them that the girl's safety was the most important thing. It was a quiet moment of human connection where fear, care, and kindness all intersected. Dwayne stayed with the girl for a few minutes longer, making sure she was truly calm and ready to return to the edge of the pool. He spoke to her in a gentle, encouraging tone, telling her that she was brave and that it was okay to feel scared sometimes. The girl listened intently, absorbing every word, her eyes gradually losing the wide, panicked look and replacing it with a small, tentative smile. Around the pool, the scene had become one of reflection. Parents and bystanders realized the importance of vigilance and the need to speak up when something seemed wrong. The lifeguard, now clearly uncomfortable, avoided direct eye contact, understanding that his actions had been noticed and judged. The community, even in that small moment, had witnessed the impact of decisive, kind intervention. By the time the girl returned to the edge of the pool, wrapped in a towel and still a little shivering, Dwayne had already spoken to the pool staff. He emphasized the importance of safety, respect, and responsibility, making it clear that such behavior could never be tolerated again. His words carried authority but also empathy, showing that accountability could coexist with understanding. The girl looked around at the pool, still nervous but feeling. The girl was still shaking slightly as she sat wrapped in a large towel, water dripping from her hair and clothes. Her parents had rushed to her side, gently holding her and asking if she was okay. She nodded timidly, but the fear in her eyes was still visible. The crowd around the pool had quieted, and many people were now watching the scene unfold with a mixture of shock and concern. The lifeguard, realizing that the girl had been saved and that witnesses had seen everything, looked uneasy and out of place. He avoided eye contact with the girl and the people around, standing rigidly near his post, unsure how to react. Dwayne Johnson stayed close to the girl, kneeling to be at her level. He spoke in a calm, soothing voice, telling her that she had done nothing wrong. He reminded her that everyone makes mistakes and that being scared did not mean she was weak. His words were gentle but firm, offering both comfort and reassurance. The girl slowly relaxed under his attention, still trembling but feeling safer than she had just moments ago. She clung to the towel, finding a little strength in the presence of someone who genuinely cared. The parents thanked Dwayne repeatedly, their voices filled with gratitude and relief. They explained that their daughter had always been cautious around water, and the sudden push had terrified her. Dwayne nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. He reassured them that she was safe and that everything would be handled appropriately. His calm authority seemed to soothe not only the girl, but also the other children and parents around the pool. The atmosphere, once tense and chaotic, began to settle. Nearby, a group of children who had witnessed the incident whispered to each other. Some of them had seen the lifeguard push the girl, and they were clearly upset. They didn't fully understand why someone would behave that way, but they knew it was wrong. Seeing Dwayne intervene gave them hope and a sense of security. They realized that there were people who would step in to protect them if something dangerous or unfair happened. It was a small lesson in courage, one that would stay with them for a long time. Dwayne then addressed the lifeguard directly, his voice steady and clear. He asked why the girl had been pushed and why such behavior had been allowed to happen in the first place. The lifeguard stumbled over his words, unable to provide a convincing answer. He looked increasingly uncomfortable as Dwayne spoke, his authority under scrutiny. Witnesses could see that the lifeguard's actions were being held accountable, and there was a growing sense of justice among the crowd. People murmured to each other, some expressing shock, others relief that someone had intervened before the situation could get worse. Meanwhile, the girl began to calm further, encouraged by Dwayne's presence and the support from her parents. He reminded her that it was okay to feel afraid, and that she had the right to be safe and respected. The girl listened closely, absorbing each word. Slowly, she began to smile, the fear in her eyes replaced by a small but genuine sense of relief. Her parents held her close, whispering reassuring words and letting her know that everything was going to be all right. The small moments of kindness and attention helped her regain confidence one step at a time. Dwayne then spoke to the pool staff, explaining the importance of responsibility and safety. He emphasized that children were vulnerable and deserved to be treated with care. He insisted that appropriate steps be taken to ensure that such incidents could not happen again. The staff listened attentively, realizing that this was more than just a simple accident. It was a moment to reflect on how to maintain a safe and welcoming environment for everyone. His words carried weight, and it was clear that action would follow. The girl's parents spoke quietly with Dwayne, expressing their gratitude once more. They shared how this experience had shaken them, but also how much they appreciated his intervention. Dwayne listened carefully, offering reassurance and support. He encouraged them to allow their daughter to continue enjoying the pool at her own pace and to ensure she felt safe at all times. The parents nodded, feeling a renewed sense of confidence in their ability to protect her, knowing that someone had already stepped in when it mattered most. As the girl's breathing steadied and her body relaxed, Dwayne helped her back toward the shallow end of the pool. He stayed close, offering encouragement and reminding her that she could take her time. She dipped her toes in the water again, testing the temperature, and then gradually stepped in further, her small arms trembling with each movement. Dwayne stayed beside her, providing a reassuring presence that allowed her to regain control over her fear. With each cautious step, her confidence grew, and a small smile began to spread across her face. Other children watched from a safe distance, learning an important lesson about courage and support. They saw that even when someone was scared or treated unfairly, there could be help and kindness nearby. They whispered among themselves, pointing to the girl and Dwayne, impressed by the way he had acted. It was a quiet, unspoken teaching moment, showing them the power of standing up for what is right. The lifeguard, meanwhile, remained still near his post, clearly unsettled. Staff members whispered to each other, discussing what had happened and how it should be addressed. It was evident that this incident would not be forgotten anytime soon. The attention and accountability brought by Dwayne's presence made it clear that there were consequences for actions that endangered children, and everyone around could see the importance of vigilance and responsibility. With the girl now safely back in the shallow water, Dwayne stayed for a few more moments, ensuring she was comfortable and enjoying herself. He spoke to her gently, praising her bravery and reminding her that feeling scared was normal. The girl responded with shy smiles, slowly splashing the water with her hands, beginning to play again. The parents watched closely, feeling grateful and reassured. The energy around the pool had shifted. What had begun as fear and tension was transforming into safety and joy once more. Dwayne then turned his attention briefly to the crowd, offering words about the importance of watching out for each other, especially children. He reminded everyone that being kind and responsible could prevent accidents and protect those who might be vulnerable. His words were simple but effective, leaving a lasting impression on the witnesses. People nodded, clearly absorbing the message and feeling inspired to act with more care in the future. The girl's parents encouraged her to take her time, letting her decide when she wanted to go deeper into the pool. They reassured her that she had the afternoon sun was high and warm, reflecting off the surface of the pool and casting sparkling light across the faces of the children playing. The young girl, now wrapped in a towel and sitting on a lounge chair, was slowly regaining her composure. Her small body still trembled slightly, but her eyes held a glimmer of curiosity and cautious excitement. She looked at the pool, her mind replaying the moments that had just passed. The sudden push from the lifeguard had terrified her, but the quick intervention by Dwayne Johnson had changed everything. She felt a mix of fear, relief, and admiration, all swirling inside her like the ripples in the water. Dwayne stayed near her side, his presence reassuring. He spoke to her gently, asking if she wanted to return to the shallow end of the pool. The girl hesitated for a moment, uncertainty flickering across her face, but she nodded slowly. Dwayne encouraged her, telling her that she was strong and that it was okay to be cautious. His voice was calm and steady, each word carefully chosen to comfort and empower her. She took a deep breath and, holding his hand for support, slowly stepped back into the water. The cool liquid lapped against her legs, and she felt a sense of cautious control returning. Around the pool, the atmosphere had shifted. Parents were talking quietly among themselves, sharing their shock at what had happened. They were grateful for Dwayne's intervention, and began to discuss the importance of vigilance and care in public spaces. Children who had witnessed the event continued to watch from a distance, some pointing and whispering to each other about the bravery of the girl and the decisive action of Dwayne. It was a quiet lesson in courage, empathy, and responsibility, all unfolding in the warm afternoon sun. Dwayne then turned his attention to the lifeguard, who stood stiffly near his post, clearly uncomfortable. He spoke in a calm but firm tone, asking why the girl had been pushed and explaining the seriousness of the situation. The lifeguard struggled to respond, his face flushed with embarrassment and uncertainty. He realized that his actions had been seen by everyone around the pool and that there was no way to dismiss the incident. Dwayne made it clear that behavior like this was unacceptable and that accountability was necessary. It was a moment of truth, showing the power of intervention and the importance of standing up for what is right. The girl, sensing the tension but also feeling safe with Dwayne nearby, focused on regaining her confidence in the water. He encouraged her to splash gently and move at her own pace. With each small movement, her fear began to fade, replaced by a cautious sense of control. She started to laugh softly, the sound fragile at first but growing stronger as she realized she was safe. Dwayne smiled, nodding encouragingly, showing her that progress, no matter how small, was worth celebrating. Her parents remained close, watching every movement, their expressions a mixture of concern and relief. They whispered words of encouragement, telling her she was brave and that she had nothing to fear. The girl listened, absorbing their support and the reassurance provided by Dwayne. Slowly, her confidence grew, and she began to play more freely in the shallow water. She splashed gently, testing her strength and the limits of her courage. Each movement was a small victory, a step toward overcoming the fear instilled by the lifeguard's inappropriate action. Dwayne spoke to the pool staff quietly, making sure they understood the importance of safety and responsibility. He emphasized that children deserved respect and protection, and that adults had a duty to ensure their well-being. The staff listened carefully, recognizing that this was not just a minor incident but an opportunity to reinforce proper conduct and vigilance. They began to discuss measures to prevent similar situations in the future, including better training and supervision. Dwayne's intervention had sparked a conversation that would likely improve the safety of the pool for everyone. Nearby children began to return to their play, though many kept an eye on the girl. They were inspired by her bravery and the way Dwayne had acted to protect her. Whispers and quiet discussions spread among them, as they reflected on what they had witnessed. Some talked about how scary the situation must have been, while others speculated about what they would do if they saw someone in danger. The moment had become a silent lesson in empathy, courage, and the importance of standing up for others. The girl's parents encouraged her to take small steps, allowing her to choose how far she wanted to go into the water. With Dwayne's guidance and support, she ventured a little further into the shallow end, carefully testing her limits. Each cautious movement was met with gentle praise and reassurance. Her laughter grew more confident, blending with the sounds of other children playing around her. The afternoon sun glinted off the water, creating a shimmering, magical atmosphere that seemed to celebrate her small victories. The lifeguard, standing rigidly near his post, watched the scene unfold. He could see the girl's growing confidence and the approval of the parents and onlookers. For the first time, he appeared to understand the impact of his actions. His discomfort was visible, a silent acknowledgement that what he had done was wrong. Dwayne's calm but firm approach had made it clear that accountability and understanding were necessary, and that the well-being of children was not negotiable. As the girl continued to play, Dwayne spoke to her parents about the importance of reinforcing safety and confidence at home. He suggested simple exercises and encouragement to help her feel comfortable in water. The parents listened attentively, appreciating his advice and feeling empowered to support their daughter in a constructive way. The conversation was practical yet caring, emphasizing the need for patience, empathy, and consistent reassurance. Around the pool, the energy shifted from tension to a quiet sense of respect and admiration. Children watched, parents reflected, and the staff began to take notes on how to improve safety measures. It was a subtle but powerful transformation, sparked by the intervention of someone who had acted decisively and kindly. The lesson extended beyond the girl's immediate experience, influencing everyone who witnessed the event. The girl, now more confident, began to interact with other children in the shallow end. She splashed gently with them, laughing and sharing small moments of joy. The pool, once filled with tension and fear, was now alive with the sounds of play and happiness. Dwayne remained nearby, observing quietly and ready to offer support if needed. His presence was reassuring, a silent reminder of the importance of protection and guidance. Parents continued to watch closely, their expressions a mix of relief and pride. They had seen their daughter face fear, experience distress, and then regain confidence with the support of a caring adult. It was a powerful moment, one that reinforced the value of empathy, intervention, and responsible behavior. The pool staff too absorbed the lesson, recognizing the need for vigilance and care in their roles. The girl's laughter grew louder as she splashed around with her new friends. She had learned that even when fear strikes suddenly, there are people who will step in to help. Her small victories in the water were symbolic, representing courage, trust, and the reassurance of safety. Dwayne's guidance had been instrumental, but the girl's own bravery was equally important. She had faced a frightening situation and had begun to reclaim her sense of control. The lifeguard, now visibly humbled, stayed back and observed quietly. The realization of what had transpired weighed on him, and he understood that behavior like his. The afternoon continued to unfold with a mixture of normal pool activities and a sense of lingering reflection. Children splashed and played in the water, some of them still glancing occasionally at the girl who had been pushed. Her parents stayed close, making sure she felt safe and supported, and she had begun to enjoy the shallow end once more. Each small movement, each cautious splash was a demonstration of her growing confidence. Dwayne Johnson remained nearby, observing quietly but ready to intervene if needed. His presence offered reassurance not only to the girl, but also to her parents and the other families around the pool. The lifeguard, who had pushed the girl now, stood away from the main area, visibly uncomfortable and unsure of how to proceed. The attention from witnesses, the parents, and Dwayne had shifted the dynamics of the pool. He could see the girl laughing softly as she regained her composure, and the realization of his actions weighed heavily on him. Dwayne, noticing the lifeguard's posture and hesitation, approached him calmly but firmly. He explained the importance of understanding the consequences of one's actions, emphasizing that children's safety must always be a top priority. The lifeguard listened, his face showing a mix of shame, guilt, and an understanding that he had crossed a line. Dwayne spoke directly to the lifeguard about responsibility, not in an accusatory way, but with the intent of teaching a lesson that would stick. He explained that a moment of carelessness could have serious consequences, and that it was essential to reflect on how to prevent harm in the future. He suggested additional training and careful supervision, making it clear that this was an opportunity for growth rather than punishment alone. The lifeguard nodded slowly, absorbing the weight of the conversation, realizing that this moment could change the way he approached his job forever. Meanwhile, the girl continued to play in the water, her small laughter growing stronger and more confident with each passing minute. She had returned to the shallow end, dipping her arms and legs into the water, gradually venturing a little deeper with Dwayne nearby for support. The sun sparkled on the water's surface, creating a bright, shimmering effect that seemed to celebrate her courage. Each small step she took was a victory, and she felt a quiet pride in herself for overcoming the fear that had gripped her moments earlier. Parents around the pool noticed the transformation and began to discuss the importance of teaching children about courage and safety. Some shared stories of their own experiences, emphasizing that fear is natural, but can be met with support and guidance. Dwayne's presence had created a ripple effect, encouraging reflection and discussion about how adults can protect and empower children. The atmosphere at the pool shifted from one of shock to one of learning and awareness, with families taking away important lessons about responsibility and care. The girl's parents encouraged her to explore the water at her own pace. Dwayne stayed close, offering gentle reminders and reassurance, telling her she could take her time and that it was okay to feel cautious. Slowly, she began to move more freely, splashing gently and interacting with other children. Her confidence grew with each movement, and she began to laugh more openly, the sound blending with the general joy and excitement of the pool. She realized that even after a frightening moment, It was possible to feel safe and enjoy herself again. The lifeguard, now clearly reflecting on his actions, watched quietly. He saw the positive changes around him, the girl's laughter returning, and the parents' satisfaction with the situation. It was evident that his mistake had been noticed and that corrective measures were necessary. Dwayne spoke to him about empathy and understanding, emphasizing that every child deserves respect and safety. The lifeguard's demeanor softened, and he began to consider how he could approach his responsibilities differently in the future, understanding that accountability is part of growth. As the afternoon continued, Dwayne took a moment to speak with the pool management and staff. He discussed the importance of proper training, vigilance, and how to handle incidents involving children safely. His advice was practical and actionable, focusing on creating a safe environment for everyone. The staff listened attentively, realizing that this situation, though stressful, had provided a valuable learning experience that would improve the safety and supervision at the pool going forward. Dwayne's approach was calm, compassionate, and firm, striking a balance between authority and empathy. The girl's confidence continued to grow. She started to venture further into the shallow water, splashing gently and smiling at the other children playing nearby. Her parents encouraged her, praising her bravery and supporting her every step of the way. Dwayne watched, ready to assist if necessary, but allowing her to take the lead and build her confidence independently. The moment was delicate, but powerful, showing how patience, support, and kindness could help a child overcome fear and reclaim a sense of control. Around the pool, the atmosphere had shifted completely. Parents observed closely, feeling reassured that children could be safe and supported even after a frightening event. The other children learned an unspoken lesson about courage, empathy, and the importance of standing up when someone is in danger. The pool, once a place of chaos and concern, had transformed into a space of learning, safety, and enjoyment. Dwayne's intervention had not only protected the girl, but had also inspired everyone around him to be more mindful and responsible. The girl, now laughing freely, splashed and played, her confidence growing with each passing moment. She had faced a frightening experience and emerged stronger, reassured by the care and attention she had received. Her parents watched proudly, understanding the importance of support, patience, and encouragement. They knew that this experience would remain with her, a reminder that fear can be met with bravery and kindness. The pool staff also reflected on the incident, recognizing the need for vigilance and proper supervision at all times. Dwayne spent a few more minutes speaking with parents and children about the importance of empathy and responsibility. He shared insights into how small actions can make a big difference, emphasizing that everyone has a role to play in keeping children safe. The lessons extended beyond the pool, touching on broader aspects of care, accountability, and human decency. It was a quiet but impactful moment, leaving an impression on everyone present. The lifeguard, now visibly humbled, listened carefully to Dwayne's words. He understood that his actions had consequences and that he had a responsibility to improve his behavior. The conversation was not about punishment alone, but about understanding, reflection, and growth. The lifeguard nodded, committing to take corrective action and ensure the safety of all children at the pool. It was a moment of personal reckoning, made possible by the calm but firm intervention of someone who cared deeply about the well-being of others. As the afternoon wore on, the girl continued to enjoy the water, gradually building her confidence and interacting more freely with the other children. Her laughter and joy became contagious, spreading to those around her. Parents and staff observed, with a renewed sense of awareness, appreciating the power of kindness, guidance, and intervention. The pool had become a place of learning, growth, and connection, far beyond its role as a recreational space. By the end of the day, the girl had fully regained her confidence in the shallow end. She had faced fear, experienced support, and emerged with a sense of empowerment. Her parents were grateful for Dwayne's presence and guidance, understanding the lasting impact it had on the daughter. The lifeguard had been held accountable, learning an important lesson about responsibility and the protection of vulnerable children. The pool staff and other families had gained a deeper awareness of the importance of vigilance, empathy, and action. The sun began to lower, casting warm golden light across the pool. Children continued to play, their laughter blending with the gentle sounds of splashing water. The girl's experience had become a quiet but powerful story of courage, intervention, and support. It was a story that would stay with her, her parents, and everyone who witnessed it. Dwayne Johnson's actions had ensured not only the safety of one child, but had also created a ripple effect, encouraging awareness, empathy, and responsible behavior in an entire community. As families packed up and began to leave, the girl waved goodbye to Dwayne, her face bright with gratitude and joy. She had learned that even in frightening moments there is hope, safety, and kindness. The day had transformed fear into confidence and chaos into calm, leaving a lasting impression on everyone involved. The lessons of the afternoon were simple yet profound. Courage, empathy, and responsible action could change lives one moment at a time, would never be repeated. The accountability and attention brought by Dwayne's intervention had created an opportunity for reflection and growth. It was clear that the incident would be remembered by everyone involved, shaping future actions and attitudes. As the afternoon wore on, the pool continued to be a place of joy and activity. Children played, parents chatted, and the sun cast warm light across the scene. Yet, beneath the surface of normalcy was a deeper understanding of responsibility, courage, and care. The girl's experience had become a story of transformation, turning fear into confidence and chaos into calm. Her small steps in the water were a testament to resilience, support, and the power of intervention. By the end of the day, the girl was confidently playing in the shallow end, her fear replaced by excitement and enjoyment. She had faced a moment of panic, experienced a powerful act of kindness and protection, and regained her sense of safety. Parents and children alike left the pool with a renewed awareness of vigilance, empathy, and responsibility. The lessons of the afternoon extended beyond the pool, touching everyone who had witnessed the event. The girl's parents were filled with gratitude, understanding the importance of Dwayne's intervention and the impact it had on their daughter. They knew that this experience would remain with her, a memory of bravery, reassurance, and the importance of standing up for what is right. The community, too, had been reminded of the value of empathy, quick action, and the protection of the vulnerable. As the sun began to lower in the sky, the pool retained its lively energy, children laughing and splashing in the warm water. The story of the girl and her unexpected hero had left an impression on everyone present. It was a tale of fear, courage, and human kindness, showing how a single act of intervention can change the course of a moment and the memories of those involved. For the girl, it was a turning point, a day when fear transformed into confidence and help arrived just when it was needed most. A right to feel safe and that her feelings mattered. With Dwayne's support and guidance, she began to enjoy the water, gradually splashing and moving further from the edge. Her laughter returned, soft at first, then stronger as she realized she was safe. It was a small victory, a turning point in her afternoon, made possible by the intervention of someone who truly cared. Around the pool, the other children slowly returned to their play, though many kept an eye on the girl, inspired by her courage and Dwayne's actions. Parents continued to watch closely, reminded of the importance of supervision and kindness. The lifeguard, now visibly humbled, stayed back, quietly reflecting on what had just happened. It was a moment of learning and accountability, one that would likely stay with him for a long time. As the afternoon continued, the pool returned to its usual rhythm. Children splashed, parents chatted, and the sun reflected off the water in bright, sparkling patterns. Yet the memory of the incident lingered in everyone's minds. The girl's experience had become a story of fear, bravery, and intervention, showing the impact that one person's actions could have on another's life. It was a lesson in empathy, responsibility, and courage, quietly teaching everyone at the pool an important truth. By the end of the afternoon, the girl was confidently playing in the water, her fear replaced by joy and excitement. She had learned that even in moments of fear, there could be help and support. The presence of someone kind and attentive who acted decisively had made all the difference. Parents and children alike left the pool with a renewed sense of awareness and understanding, carrying the lessons of that day with them. For the girl, the afternoon had been transformative. She had faced fear, experienced a moment of panic, and then been reassured and supported by someone she admired. It was a memory that would stay with her, a story of courage and safety that she could remember whenever she faced challenges. The community, too, had been reminded of the importance of standing up for what is right and ensuring that every child feels protected and valued. The pool was alive with energy, laughter, and the joy of summer. But beneath it all was the quiet understanding of what had happened. The girls' bravery, the intervention of Dwayne Johnson, and the lessons learned by everyone around had created a ripple effect that extended far beyond the water's edge. It was a day of fear transformed into courage, of chaos turned into calm, and of vulnerability met with care. The story of the girl and the unexpected hero would be remembered long after the sun had set on that sunny afternoon. A new sense of courage. She realized that even when fear seemed overwhelming, there were people who would step in to help. The incident, terrifying as it had been, became a turning point in her understanding of bravery, trust, and the power of compassion. She smiled at Dwayne one last time before he moved on, a smile full of gratitude and newfound confidence. As the day continued, the girl stayed near the shallow end of the pool, cautiously enjoying the water while her parents kept a watchful eye. The memory of being pushed still lingered, but it was tempered by the experience of being saved and reassured by someone who acted with immediate kindness and authority. Other children continued to play around her, now aware that adults could intervene when needed, and parents remained vigilant, a little more aware of their surroundings. The incident was small in the scale of the day, but its impact was profound. It showed the importance of standing up, acting quickly, and caring deeply. For the girl, it was a lesson she would carry for the rest of her life, a story of fear, bravery, and unexpected heroism. For the community, it was a reminder that one person's action could change everything in a moment. The sun continued to shine, reflecting off the water, and the pool slowly returned to its regular rhythm. Children laughed and splashed, parents chatted and relaxed, and somewhere in the background the lifeguard reflected on his actions, realizing the gravity of what had happened. Meanwhile, the girl, now safe and comforted, began to enjoy the water with cautious joy, knowing that even in moments of fear, help could arrive from unexpected places. The pool was alive with energy again, but the memory of courage and kindness lingered, leaving an imprint that would not be forgotten.